Hi, in this tutorial we are going to study about hashing. Hashing is a technique by which we store the data in such a way that the seek time is reduced. We have to store student record and we have an array of student objects named S. There is a hash function which gives us the position where to store the record in the student array depending on the name of the student. This hash function works like this. It multiplies the ASCII value of first two letters in the name and calculates the mod of it with the maximum size of the array. It returns this value as the hash key. Then we store the record at that position in the array using this statement s of hash key dot get data. We get the data at the position hash key. For example, the input name is Manish. The hash functions multiply the ASCII values of first two letters. M corresponds to 77 and A corresponds to 65. It calculates the mod of it with the size. Let's say the size is 20 and then this evaluates to 5. It returns 5 as the hash key, and then we store the data at index 5 using this statement s of 5 dot get data. Now what if at the 5th position some student record is already present? In that case we will store this data into the 6th position. And what if some data is present in the 6th position also? In that case we will store in the 7th position. We continue this process until we get an empty position, and there we store our data. In the program we have a hash function which we are going to use later. This function multiplies the first two characters and then calculates the mod with size and then returns that value. I have declared and defined a student class. The student constructor copies star in the USN field to indicate that that object is empty. I have get data and put data, and one more function is empty which checks whether that position in the array is empty or not. I have one more function found which takes name as an argument and checks whether that name is present in the name field of the object. I have a function write to file which writes the student data into the file. Get data and put data as usual. We'll start with the main function. This is the part of the code which helps to store the student data into the array. First of all we ask the user for the name, and then we call the hash function supplying this name as an argument. This hash function returns the hash key h. Now we have to store the details into s of h. But before that we need to check whether that position is empty or not. So I use this while loop and I check while this is empty I will increment the position h. This is called as collision resolution. After writing the data I call the write to file function by which I write the data to the file. Now let's see how this is empty and write to functions look like. Here is the is empty function. It checks whether the USN is star, then it is empty, otherwise it's not. And the write to file function opens a file hash.txt in output mode and writes the data members into the file and closes that file. Now let us take a look at the search function. It's quite similar. Again we ask for the name, we call the hash function giving the name as an argument. It returns the hash key h. Then we can say that the element is present or not at s of h. So we have to check if the element is found at s of h using this condition. If it is found I will put the data onto the screen, and if it is not found then I will increment h and I will continue again until I encounter an empty position or I find the record. Lastly, if the position is still empty, then I display it's not found. That's all about this program. The implementation of found function I leave it to you as an exercise. Thanks for watching.